High chairs next to each other. They feel like I got a lot of give as well.
But they still want you to envision a fireside chat.
I feel like I'm in a B-list movie about to get makeup. Which is the only type of movie I've ever been in. I've never been in an A-list movie.
Well, for those of you who are not in the know, let me introduce the panel. We have Sam Morril, who had an MSG show called People Talking About Sports and Other
Big
Things.
hit in San Francisco.
And he has an upcoming 1-hour special on Comedy Central. We have the host of a morning radio show on Comedy Central.
Yep.
Nikki Glaser.
Former TV host on Comedy Central, now radio host. Next year I'm going to be running their Twitter account. So look forward to that.
The host of the Jim Jefferies show, Tuesday nights on Comedy Central.
Yes.
We have Jim Jefferies.
Just a coincidental thing that actually Comedy Central had a show called the Jim Jefferies Show, and I was just the right guy at the right time.
That's
It
incredible.
was pitched to me after they had the name. So.
And fresh off taping a new episode of HBO's Crashing, we have Rachel Feinstein.
Thanks. I wore a blazer for this. So I'm worth it.
At least two of us put effort in.
So I normally start these with the most newsiest question because it is for the press.
Oh, come on, say it, you feckless cunt.
Speaking of which, this was a big week for comedians making high-profile apologies. And I wanted to know, I know at least one of you has experience with this. Do you guys ever feel like you would apologize for things you've said on stage?
I'd apologize for anything that I felt needed an apology if I felt bad about something. But for the most part, I feel like comedians are just trying to do stuff. And it's like a soccer player doesn't apologize when it misses a goal. You know what I mean? Like, you do things, you try, and if it doesn't work out. But, like, if I said what Roseanne Barr said, and I was on Ambien, I'd probably wake up and feel like an apology was in place. I've always looked at my life like this, right? So if you got, like, the 12-step program, right? And you got step 8, where you have to apologize to everyone. I could just skip that. I get drunk and then I just wake up and apologize in the morning and then I do it again. Who are these cunts who just fucking upset people and then just go, I'll leave that for 12 years?
Well, that was your response to Samantha Bee's backlash, was to put out a video of all the times you've said cunt on the Jim Jefferies show.
We put out a video on my show of all the times that I've called someone a cunt, and we only scratched the surface. There was like 4 times as many things. And look, I feel like Samantha Bee should not apologize to Ivanka Trump. She should apologize to me because that's my word. It's cultural appropriation, and I feel like that was
right, because that word is used a lot more frequently in British Commonwealth places.
Yes.
I think it's funny because someone said, I forget who said it on Twitter. I think it was Sarah Talamash comedian Sarah Talamash said on Twitter yesterday, and I loved it, that she thinks that she says cunt more than bitch now. Like it's taken over bitch. Mm-hmm. It's not as I don't think it is as bad as it used to be or as that some people are responding. I say cunt way more than I say bitch. And honestly, I'd rather be called cunt than like ma'am. Or I honestly would.
Well, it has that hard C sound that comedians love.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny word.
Cunt, yeah.
But I think that in the past couple of years, it has lost its edge and isn't as...
I'll take credit for that.
You've really driven
I told you, I'm the Rosa Parks of cunt. Before me, there was no cunt, and then I gave it to you.
I'm going to start weeping now.
Is this hitting you emotionally, Rachel?
What's that?
Is this hitting you emotionally?
It is. No, I don't. It doesn't hit me that word. It's almost a fun-loving phrase at this point.
But is there anything in your own act that you would ever feel the need to apologize for?
I mean,
if it were demanded of you, oh, Rachel, how dare you do that?
I mean, I think in general it's better to. I feel like for the most part, I think people should, if they feel bad about something that they did. Apologize. Sometimes, people say horrible, hateful, horrific things, and it's probably good to apologize if you didn't mean it. But I don't know. It's a game, this apology thing, and people love to be outraged. So it's gotten to absurd lengths. I think people feel good when they're angry. Like I'll get emails from people. I got an email from a couple. And they were like, we're co-offended by one of your jokes. And I'm like, you guys are so miserable.
Those guys sound like cunts, don't they?
Well,
just Joel and Beth together. We want to let you know.
How did you upset them, Rach?
What was the joke? It was so strange. It was like a specific reference I didn't even remember I made to a peanut allergy. And they let me know that peanut allergies had affected
peanut
their
allergies.
lives. And
People can die from that.
And sometimes people they think they like feeling offended. Like, I think that's a fun feeling for them. So maybe you do brighten their day if you offend them. I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't think. Here's my point. I would totally apologize for something I've said on stage because I'm constantly evolving and growing, like learning empathy, because I got off Zoloft recently and realized that like people have feelings other than mine. And so there are some things I've said on stage before that I'm like, oh, I would never say that now. And if someone were to ask me to apologize, I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. So I'm not one of these comics that's like, I will never apologize for anything I said, because I'm still learning how to be like a good human. And I don't know, yeah.
You apologize if you mean it.
If you mean it.
Samantha Bee didn't fucking mean it. TBS called her up and said, we're getting a lot of heat, and then she sent out this half-art. She's not sitting at home feeling bad about calling her a feckless cunt. And also, we have the problem as being comedians that none of the people on this stage have feelings. and have, you know what I mean? So Sam, right, we met like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
What was my first nickname? What was the first thing I ever...
I think you told me I look like Michael Phelps with Down syndrome.
I call him Down
and
syndrome Michael
the more
Phelps,
drinks he
and
has.
still he gets out of bed every day.
Yeah.
I mean, we do say such despicable things to each other every day as comics, and I think that's how we joke around. Yeah.
Well, Sam has been quiet, but
Yeah.
Sam and I remember that the internet, Sam remembers
Yeah.
this even more than I do. The
I
internet demanded apologies from
I didn't
Sam
give one, though.
5 years ago or so?
More. It was probably more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you know what's interesting is I didn't catch any traction till I wrote a response to it. I didn't apologize, but I think some people, there's like a mob mentality online that overwhelms any reason. It doesn't make any like what Roseanne did was shitty, but she got fired. And then there's these people, it's like, well, that's not good enough. It's like, well, what else do you want? You know? She lost her job. Here's my issue with the Sam B thing was, like, you got a writing staff. You could do better than feckless cunt. You know what I mean?
Feckless is pretty good.
Feckless is a good word.
Yeah,
It's a good word, but I've seen her do that where it's like the punchline is like, fuck you. And it gets like
right.
applause. I'm like, tell a joke.
Okay, so how about an
You get a
idea?
comedy
Okay,
show.
the Roseanne thing, right? Because everyone's been saying now is they've been saying all these people lost their jobs, and of course that's. I know a writer who actually just moved over, and it was her first day, and then like bang.
Is that Jenna?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? If we don't want all these people to lose their jobs, we all can agree. Well, I think that what Roseanne said was racist and wrong, and she deserved to lose her job. You can just recast her. Now, here's the problem here. She owns royalties and the creator of the show.
Right.
So fuck that off. We just change the whole show. New woman in there, we call it the Suzanne show. the son's called TJ, right?
I like that you've already named the hypothetical cat. And
I'm telling you, you bring out Suzanne. The rest of the cast is
I already love Suzanne. I
And
like her
instead of
flair.
having like that rug they have on the thing, you have like an Afghan quilt or something. I don't know.
You all have
You'd
become...
watch Suzanne. If they did that, if they actually recast it, called it Suzanne, different actors, and then just... No, this
Well,
is a
that's what
completely new
Sarah
show.
Gilbert did with The View. She just renamed it The Talk and made it. So she can do that with Roseanne, too. It's already been done.
And I like Suzanne. I'm already relating to her. She seems like a relatable
She's
gal.
a plucky lady. She's had to deal with
fun.
adversity.
She doesn't drive an
She's
Uber, she
poor,
drives
but
a
that
Lyft.
doesn't define her.
She takes risks. She has a few divorces under her belt. I like her.
Rachel,
her
you-
husband doesn't follow the Cubs. He's more of a White Sox guy. There's a few different things that are slightly different.
Rachel, I know you've got some great voices. Do you have an idea of what Suzanne would sound like?
I just think Suzanne, let me just say this. She's been through a lot, but she's on her way back.
And opening credits, they're at the breakfast nook. Right? They don't do it around the table. It's a little different things that are going on.
Well, so all four of you have become more popular since the advent of social media. Do you feel like you're...
Has
Thank
anyone
you.
become less
Are
popular?
you talking socially or career-wise?
Well, I'm just reflecting how young you all.
Thank you.
So, do you feel like your social media policy has changed as you've become more popular?
I tweet less about people looking like monkeys in the Muslim faith. I don't do that anymore because
Right.
times are a-changing.
I try to tweet less about monkeys, but I take a lot of melatonin, so that's the problem.
I will say that after reading Kathy Griffin's thread the other day
Right.
about how the Trump administration came after her after she had already apologized and after the whole thing had died down and she was kind of recovering from it, and then it surged again and people were calling in bomb threats to her shows. And that really scared me in terms of what you tweet. They can just decide to ruin your life.
Right. The troll.
Based on
There's troll armies.
Right, but
on
he
social
can't.
media.
The president can sick his trolls on you, and it
that
will
was a
ruin
scary
your
thing
life.
to read. That was a chilling thing to read the
chilling-
steps of
my
what happened
mom
to her.
has
Yeah.
been on me about it. Please don't. She's angry I'm here right now doing this. Just don't say anything that can be misconstrued, and then they can ruin your life. So that
Also,
is terrifying.
Yeah, and I also think it's frustrating as a comic. For me, what also frustrates me as a comic is when you make a joke making fun of something awful someone said to you, or you're recounting someone, and somebody completely misunderstands the irony of the joke. That's especially frustrating. So I was telling some dumb story about some crazy thing someone said to me on the road about Jews, and I got some long letter from Beth and Joel, the couple that likes to be co-offended. No, but they let me know that she was you're spreading anti-Semitism and hate. I'm I'm telling a story of an awful thing someone said to me that is hilarious in its absurdity, and you're telling me now I can't even share an actual experience? So that's very frustrating as a comic, where people don't understand basic irony.
But what you're leaving out of that story is the bit where they said the horrible things about the Jews and then you high-fived them.
No, you're right.
I
though.
mean, we
People
did
take-
party together for a lot of hours after that, and we did a lot of keg shots, a lot of keg stands, shots all around. But I'm just saying,
people
me and that
remove
Clancy
context.
group made a night of it. But
I was just saying, people remove context, and so it's you just said the thing that they said, but it's no, they said it.
Right.
That's the joke.
yeah.
So has it changed the way you use the various platforms? Whether it's you do one thing on Twitter, one thing on Facebook, and one different thing on Instagram.
I mean, I do worry about it whenever I have a special coming out. Instead of being excited for it, I'll worry about something that I'm that story is going to be
Well,
misunderstood.
Maybe you're worried about when your special comes out, because when your special came out, it was called Only Whores Wear Purple, and it was the
Yeah.
day Prince
Yeah,
died,
yeah,
and
that
everyone
was.
thought you named your special
Is
that
that-
to
is that-
fuck about Prince.
Is that
to
true?
make fun
Is
of
it the
him.
day that Prince died?
Well, yeah.
It's insane.
Really?
What
It
people
was the
do.
same
Everyone-
weekend. It was
I
the
did
same
not
weekend.
know that Prince. I didn't
Obviously you
plan
didn't
Prince's
know.
death, but yeah, it was everyone came after me, how dare you? Purple means so much to us. And I'm
you
I
had
had no
planned
idea.
it.
Damn it. But yeah, it was all these Prince fans just furious at me. And some
But in
people would text
saying
me
that-
I'd love to promote your special, but I just don't want to offend all these Prince supporters.
But Prince did fuck a lot of people. If anyone could be called a whore, it's arguably Prince.
Yeah.
Why is the lights gone out?
Oh my
Now it's a
God.
fireside. Okay.
I don't feel
Okay.
any safer in this room. It looks like out of the movie Elephant.
I don't know that reference, but I like
It's a school shooting
That's
reference.
what I thought. Okay.
Did you just say a school shooting joke? What did you say?
No, movies.
Oh shit.
Sam's going rogue on this fireside chat.
Well, let's bring it back with something happy.
Just
Belated
happy
happy
the smoke
birthday
alarms
to
aren't going
Nikki.
Thank you.
Yes, it was Nikki's birthday yesterday.
Yep.
And
Happy birthday,
Thanks,
Nikki.
guys. Big news.
big news. You also share every birthday with your friend Amy Schumer.
Yes, I
And-
do. And Morgan Freeman. Oh, wait. We're not celebrating him anymore.
It's not
I'm
the
sorry.
same date.
Oh.
They just invite Morgan Freeman to come
We
over
do,
and grope
yeah.
the two
We
of
just
them.
like him to spend the day with us, and yeah. So Morgan Freeman, me,
Yeah.
Amy, yeah.
Yeah. When you and Amy found out that you had the same birthdays, did that make you closer friends, or did it?
I think it does. It always you get super excited, and you're like, oh my god, that means more. We're sisters or whatever. But
That conversation must have lasted minutes.
it was.
I think he really just wanted to change the topic from what I did. This is my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's yeah. I'm doing Amy Schumer and Friends tonight, which I've always been really proud to be her friend. Almost to a point where, one time I was doing a man on the street piece for my Comedy Central show, and
Not safe for work.
Yeah, not safe, and it's just called Not Safe. They changed it, but I was on the street and a TMZ van came driving by, with a bunch of people like trying to
Right, they
see
have TMZ
celebrities.
tours. Yeah,
Yeah, a
celebrity
TMZ
tours.
tour, a celebrity bus tour, and they saw a girl shooting something on the street, and they go, the tour guide goes, "Who are you?" And I just go, "I'm friends with Amy Schumer," and everyone started taking pictures, and so that's always been kind of my thing, and so I'm really proud to be here tonight as a friend of Amy Schumer.
Very nice. You and Rachel are both on that show.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
I know
tonight.
I've talked with
And
you
so
both.
is Mia Jackson. Really
And
funny
Bridget Everett.
comic.
And Bridget
And
Everett,
Bridget
yeah.
Everett.
Now, I know I've talked to you both about this before, but what's it like having kind of a teamwork of comedian friends all working together to lift the tides of all the boats?
I think
so
it's
to speak?
nice when you're on the road that you have that friend that you can text like a picture of like a rancid green room or something to, and they understand.
Or
you
just
know?
like the guy's car who picks you up, like the trash at your foot, like all like being like, I'm gonna die. These are my This is what I'll be wearing when I die.
So the people who don't know, when you do the comedy clubs, people just they send like a bartender just to pick you up sometimes.
any sex offender.
So, yeah. So I was thinking I was in Dallas or something like that, and I was just standing on the side of the road. There was meant to be a guy coming, and this pickup truck pulls up, and the guy looks out the window and goes, "Jim Jefferies," and I threw my bag in the back of the pickup truck, and I got in the car, and he goes, "I don't know you, I'm just a fan."
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
I was just like, all right, this is the guy.
That's so great.
It just shows you how vulnerable we are. Like our
I did
lives.
a gig in
We're so actively dangerous.
I did a gig in Grand Rapids, and the guy they sent to pick me up had to do a breathalyzer into the thing to start a car. And I was
Oh,
like,
he had the ignition interlock.
yeah, they sent the A-team for that one.
Nice. Who came to pick you up for Clusterfest?
Oh,
No one, actually.
I booked my own ticket. I don't know. There's people from Clusterfest here. I don't know if you know this, but this is the most shabbily run festival that's ever been. The other people have infrastructure in place, like getting us hotels and telling us where we might need to be. You've got a building, and that's a good start. It's a great start. You've got rooms. The bracelets, winning, right? But the liaison work, I don't know which cunts here work for the company. Thank you for here. There's no fireplace.
They really do just wish you luck, and that's about it. They're just like,
So
stop by
season
if you
3
can.
is been renewed already?
On my show?
Yeah.
Oh, not yet. But let's be honest, Comedy Central need me. They're laughing over there. It's a nervous thing that's going on.
Like, what's happening? Well, can you tell us all, aside from the shows that you are doing this weekend, what other things are you most excited to see at Clusterfest, or people?
Oh, I'm excited to see the And Friends.
Thank you.
I wanted to see Salt and Pepper, but they showed up late or something. So
An afternoon performance. I was going to go see them too, but then I was just laying still and feeding
But they-
instead.
No, I waited.
Actually, the show
I
was
waited
delayed.
outside for an hour for Salt and Pepper.
The show was
before they showed
delayed
up.
by an hour. They pushed it.
They pushed it real good.
Pushed it real.
Yeah.
It was delayed, but I've been dying to say that all day.
What about you guys?
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
The
Other than your own
shows. I
shows.
don't know.
There's no one on this lineup I hate.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
is
never.
true.
It's like there are times I do festivals and I just go down and then you get to someone that you're like, oh God, I hope I don't see them in the gym or something. You know, like you just go, and there's no one here that gives me that feeling. So I was like looking forward to doing it.
I have never looked up at a lineup of comedians and gone, I hope I don't see them in the gym. Like they might go, I just never.
Oh,
go.
right.
Like that's never been like a stopping point for me. Oh, I'll be working.
Well,
out.
I like to drop that I go to the gym as frequently as I can into my humor. I regretted that reference as soon as I said it. I just want to let everyone know.
You go to
yeah,
the
but
gym
like-
even though you're on radio.
But you know what I mean? Like, don't you look at sometimes lineups and you're like, oh, I want to stay at another hotel because I just don't want to see that person in the lobby or the.
No, I would say that this festival is the most feckless cunt-free festival I've ever seen. Some of them are still at the airport wondering how they're going to get here.
Nikki, can you tell us a little bit of what it's like to go from a comedian primarily working at night to now having a morning radio show?
Yeah, I actually love radio so much. I can't even stand it because first of all, TV, like, it's exhausting. The hours are crazy. I show up a half hour before, not even a half hour, 15 minutes before we go on air. I get to just be myself, and then I'm done when the show's done, and then I'm done, and I go home. And I get to do it 8 hours a week, so I get a ton of experience. It's the best job ever. But I do have to get up early, and then I just go nap, and then I do sets at night, and then it works perfectly. I actually moved to New York City so I could do it 3 hours later, because I was supposed to do the show in LA from 7 to 9, and then I was like, if I moved to New York, I could wake up 3 hours later, and it's great. So it's really, I recommend it to everyone.
If you move to Australia,
woman,
you can do it a day early.
oh my God, Jim.
Save yourself a lot of time. Imagine the amount of sleep you'd get in.
Well, I want to make sure that we have a chance to let any of the other people here in the gallery ask a question. Is there anybody who has a question for the panel? Yes, in the purple shirt.
So this is a question for Nikki and Rachel. You guys talked a little about the Samantha Bee stuff. One thing that I thought was interesting between that and everything that happened with Michelle Wolf is they were both about women making jokes about other women. People were saying that's off limits for some reason, and I wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
I'll take this.
Women joking about other women. Helping or hurting?
I think that I don't like when women make fun of other women's looks. That always bothers me, but I don't think either of those circumstances were that, even though they tried to make Michelle Wolf's joke that it was her attacking her looks, which it wasn't at all. So unless you're calling another woman making fun of her body or her looks or something, I don't have a problem with women calling out other women. I think we need to.
Yeah,
Especially
the idea
if
that we
cunts.
somehow couldn't take attacks on our character as well as men is kind of offensive in itself. And also, it's like she was supposed to roast people. She showed up and she did her job, and everyone's attacking a woman who's doing her job in the name of feminism. I don't understand that. It just makes me feel sleepy. It's dumb.
Yes, question from the
Makes me feel sleepy.
question from the front second row.
She did her job. Like, people have been saying insane things in roasts forever, and she showed up and she did her job, and that's a hard job in a cold, annoying hotel. And she went and she did it.
The
And then
Washington
everyone's
Hilton,
like, "You
right?
made
Yeah.
jokes," and she didn't. The joke was about her smoky eye. She actually complimented her makeup and to make another point about her character. So people again misunderstood the irony of the joke, but just were excited about getting outraged.
I'm interested to see what the next Comedy Central roast is going to be like with I don't understand. Like, if you compare what Michelle Wolf did to the things that are said on the roasts, I mean there is no, it's insane how mean the roasts get.
At one of the roasts, weren't they like, "Don't make fun of Shatner's dead wife"?
Yeah, I mean, they had to,
You're the,
and then
like,
people
eyeshadow?
still did.
Just because
you know,
she was a
like,
bad swimmer?
Well, with
So I don't know
with
how it's gonna
Trump,
be.
With Trump, wasn't the rule for the Trump roast that you could make fun of everything except for his actual wealth?
His wealth, yeah.
So that's
What,
why
really?
Michelle did
Yeah.
that, right? That's why she did the "How broke is he" thing.
Right.
So I have a follow-up to that a little bit. This is for all of you. The fact that it's Roseanne, it's Sam, it's Kathy Griffin, it's Michelle. If a guy did these things, do you think that the outrage would have been the same? The same things if Kathy was, a male comedian calling up that?
I think if it's Seinfeld at his peak, when, "Why does this woman look like an ape?" Yes, I think they probably would have been a problem.
yeah.
I mean,
The Muslim Brotherhood, what's all that about?
Michael Richards was a kind of early high-profile.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Richards, I think that's. I personally think it's a coincidence that it's all been. I don't.
I don't know that it's a coincidence. I'm sure because even Kathy Griffin in that thing said that Snoop Dogg did a thing with his, where he killed him or assassinated an effigy of Donald
Actually,
Trump or
you
whatever.
You are right. It's not a coincidence. I just thought about that.
It's I don't
don't
know
you
that
think-
it's a
There are
coincidence.
certain- and
I
there
think
are
people
certain
don't
things-
like women.
Yeah, and I think
honestly.
there are certain things like where people get attacked for, what they say. Comics get attacked all the time for lately is, for what they say. But I do think there's like certain words they'll use about women that we're used to, or just certain stuff like, like they'll kind of, the way they talked about Michelle was kind of like, she was like kind of like vulgar, gross, and it's like, well, Bob Hope did the, disgraceful, disgusting joke. People have been saying disgusting, crazy, sexual, dirty things forever, but you get kind of scolded in a way when you're like, even sometimes as a comic, I was playing in Vegas and some shithole. Again, I'm not trying to promote myself, but. And the feature was like, he got on stage after me, and I was headlining, and he was like, "She's a dirty girl. Like like they'll scold you." And meanwhile, you could talk about a variety of subjects, but if you happen to also talk about sex as well as your family and your life and a million other things, they have certain kind of ways they talk about you. Like, you're a little naughty up there, a little gross, a little vulgar.
I like when they introduce him as "Are you guys ready for a lady comedian?"
Like it's a wacky experiment or something.
No, I think the reason it's been women lately though is because I think a lot of male comedians are scared to take shots at women right now.
That's a good point.
No, I do think that we've gotten, because after the whole thing with the feckless cunt thing, there was literally, we found reels of me calling people cunts on my show, and we edited it all together to have a cunt reel of me just going, this person, and nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
exactly.
nothing,
You've
nothing.
been doing it over and over.
Well, I think it's expected of you.
I know, but should it be? Shouldn't I be held to the same moral
Yes.
standards as everybody else? Why do you go that it's expected from me because I've been saying cunt for so long? Shouldn't I have been reprimanded a long time ago for my use of cunts? So
But it's like
answer that
walking
question,
around-
cunt.
But it's almost like walking around naked. Like that's how much you've used cunt.
I know. I have actually. Yeah, I've used cunt a lot. Yeah.
On that note,
We're not ending this. Look at this. We've just got started. This is the. My show was horrible. I'm enjoying this.
well,
I think
actually,
this is double the crowd than what I got.
well, Jim, don't you have two shows today? You had one outside, inside, and one outside.
I had a couple of drinks. I stopped drinking. I'm performing in an hour, so I got to do that one. I got to do the outdoor one, and then I'm doing that show where you tell a story.
Okay, this is not happening.
This is not happening. Where they replaced Ari Schaefer with
Roy.
Yeah.
Roy Wood.
If you had been at the last Fireside Chat, you would
He's
have heard
the
all about that.
Suzanne of that show.
Oh yeah.
Was there a question over here? Yes.
Yeah, my question's for Joe mostly. I wanted to know what, after doing stand-up and having your show, how do you decide what material goes into which?
Goes into what into the TV show and what goes into my stand-up show. At the moment, I'm having problems with that because I've found it very hard to write stand-up at the moment because I've been working so hard on the show. And if I come up with a joke, I'm like, put that in the show, put that in the show. But I got a special coming out in June or July or something, and I just booked like a big gig in New York, and I'm panicking now because I have no material for that coming up. But also, I decided I write my own stand-up, and the TV show has 8 writers. So I can't just go, thank you for writing that. That'll be stand-up now. So yeah,
A lot of people do.
I will. And I will in the very near future. I'm out.
Well, I want to thank all of our guests for being here. Rachel Feinstein, Jim Jefferies, Nikki Glaser, Sam Morril.
Thank you.
Please enjoy the rest of your Clusterfest.
Skitbags Radio.